Okay,
Philfo
so what if I
creativity
told
for
you
your
there's a
ideas
theory
with
out
Google
there that tries
Workspace
to
7.
explain quantum physics, ancient astronomy, and, get this, international patent law all at once? Well, today we're diving into a paper that does exactly that. It's proposing this massive, unified framework that connects the tiniest particles in the cosmos all the way to the global marketplace. Buckle up, because this is going to be a wild ride.
So you look at this image, and yeah, it seems like a mashup of ancient elements and some pretty modern ideas, right? But believe it or not, the paper we're digging into today says this is basically a blueprint for a new theory of everything. And here's the kicker. It tries to connect the fundamental forces of the universe with how we patent our inventions. It's a connection I bet you've never thought of before.
All right, so the paper we're unpacking is called, and this is a title, Philfo PCT IP Idea Seal to Happy WIPO Green. Yeah, I know. Even that title kind of hints at its massive ambition, right? It's trying to build this giant bridge that connects hard physics, deep biology, and the super complex world of international patent law. It's a seriously bold claim, so let's see how they even attempt to pull it off.
So how in the world does it even try to connect all this stuff? Well, the author puts forward this brand new system called Philselfology. The best way to think about it is like an operating system for reality itself. It's supposed to be this fundamental set of rules that governs not just physics and biology, but even things like human thought and creativity, the whole shebang.
Okay, so at the very heart of this entire framework, you'll find two key equations. The author basically presents them as the mathematical engine that drives everything, sort of like a Rosetta Stone for decoding this whole unified system.
So, this whole theory really boils down to two core ideas. First, you've got emission. This is how anything, and I mean anything from a star to a thought in your head, expresses itself, puts energy out into the world. And then you have absorption, which is just the other side of the coin, how that energy or information gets received and understood. The author is basically arguing that this simple back-and-forth cycle is what governs absolutely everything.
Okay, but what actually connects the emission and the absorption? Well, the paper introduces this really crucial concept called the if point. The easiest way to picture it is like a central processor, or maybe a switchboard, sitting right in the middle of the system. This is the theoretical spot where energy and information get transformed. It's where an idea supposedly becomes a physical thing, or where a particle's potential snaps into a state we can actually measure.
So, is there any, physical proof for all these abstract ideas? The paper points to something called cymatics. That's the study of the visible patterns that sound waves create. The argument here is that these beautiful, complex shapes are a direct, physical expression of those core equations in action. It's supposedly where the math literally takes physical form for us to see.
And from this point on, the theory just explodes in scope. It expands dramatically. The author takes these core ideas and starts building these incredible connections that stretch from the farthest corners of the cosmos right down into our own DNA.
And this slide just perfectly illustrates the sheer ambition we're talking about here. The theory claims it can unite concepts from fields that are just wildly different. We're talking cosmic wormholes, neutrino technology, the structure of our DNA, even Noam Chomsky's theories on universal grammar. Just look at that list. It's a truly breathtaking scope of connections.
Now here's a fascinating, though definitely speculative, link the theory makes between us and the cosmos. We know for a fact that trillions of these tiny particles called neutrinos are passing through your body every single second. The paper hypothesizes that we have our own internal switchboard, like a biological version of that if point, that can somehow interact with and even harmonize this constant stream of cosmic stuff.
Okay, I know this is all getting incredibly abstract, so you've got to be asking, what's the real-world application? Where's the so what? Well, according to the paper, the path to making this practical runs pretty surprisingly right through the world of international patent law and the global marketplace.
So the author actually lays out a pretty clear four-step pipeline. Step 1, use the Philfo framework to come up with new, sustainable ideas. Step 2, protect those ideas with patents using organizations like WIPO. Step 3, actually manufacture the new technologies. And finally, Step 4, bring those new products to the world through platforms like the UN Global Marketplace.
And it's really important to note, the goal here isn't just to make money. The paper argues this whole process is a way to solve major real-world problems. For example, a key goal would be to tackle the huge environmental footprint of our current tech by inventing and then scaling up cleaner, more sustainable alternatives.
Okay, so this entire system, from the equations to the patents, it all comes together in one final big picture vision for the planet, a concept that the author calls the Happy Earth model.
This quote right here from the paper really captures the core idea of that model. It's all about reframing our planet's chemistry. It's saying, hey, let's stop looking at things like fire, water, and hydrocarbons as just resources we burn through. Instead, picture them as components in a giant reversible process. The endgame? A completely sustainable and renewable energy system for the entire globe. So, what's the ultimate takeaway from all of this? Really, it's a vision for humanity to make a huge shift, to go from just being consumers of resources to becoming partners with the planet. It's about learning to work in harmony with the fundamental energy flows of both the cosmos and the Earth itself, all to build a truly sustainable future.
You know, this paper, whether you buy into its science or not, it definitely leaves us with a really compelling question to think about. Is the next great leap forward for humanity going to be some brand new discovery? Or could it just be about finding a new way to see the hidden connections between everything we already know, connecting ancient wisdom with modern science in a completely new light?